Greetings and welcome to the screencast where I show off my game and all the different elements within it. So let's cover the basics. So first of all, we have a 3D scene here that is explorable by a humanoid character who does animate when they move. It's not a nice animation, but it is an animation nonetheless on a humanoid character. Over here we can see exactly how the animation works, all the good Unity stuff. I've actually made it so that the animation triggers based on the velocity of the player, which I found to be more interesting than do it otherwise. Anyway, more elegant. Let's see, that's that. Yes. You can. Yes, you can examine items to find the player outcome. Rather, you can talk with the priests. That's essentially the main way in which you interact with the game and find out about the world. You can pick up items, as I did over there. You can change the game state, as I did with the door. And here we're interacting with one of the characters to learn about the world. And that's how the basic game functions in that sense. We've got camera stacking over here in the camera rig. We see in the bottom right what that looks like. Over here, ignore this one. It's the problem is essentially that my camera stuff it's black and white. Over here, you see my UI. It's over there, so it's out of the way while I'm working up here. This is why you can't see it on the camera because it's completely black. But yeah, that's how the tutorial messages also get rendered. Let's see. That's the rendering. Scriptable objects. Let's go. Yes, over here, questing. So I've created a scriptable object called the DQT, Daniel's questing tool. Over here we have a sample quest, which, yeah, we have a question. So basically quests are questions. They're trivia questions that the player has to answer. So we have the question in itself, then we have a variety of answers. I can create new ones or delete them. Basically, it's very modular. It can also have multiple correct answers in case I ever want that. And each one has the answer that the player can select, and then the feedback that the player gets to that answer. So if I show you like an actual question over here, this is how they are structured. You got the question, you got the answer the player gives, and then you got the feedback, which in some part addresses the thing that they answered, why they would believe that, and then they also address, oh, but this is how it actually is. So over here it's a little hard to read, so I'm just gonna give you the actual thing. Whoop, I missed it. Whoop, there we go. Let's go to the door, open it. So that's state-based stuff. Greetings. So, what do you know about Zeus? Oh, he's he's a demigod guy, isn't he? Then it's no, you're thinking of Hercules probably. But Zeus is the god of thunder, and also he does many other things. So already you've been told what the correct answer is, and you've been told that why the thing that you think it is might not be the thing. Um, yes, so we have that. I just did say about scriptable objects. Yes, UI progress UI, you can see in the top left here, we got it updating based on how many questions you've already answered, how many you have more to answer. You get feedback on your immediate answers. At the end, when you actually answer all of the questions of one particular priest, you get told how many of those questions you got correct. And if you answer all of the questions of all the different priests and you go to them, you get once again told how many of all of them you got correct, and you get a ending. You get an ending specific to how many questions you got right, respective how many you got wrong. So the game has multiple endings, which encourages replay value. And the good endings you get when all the gods are happy with you, and you get the really bad endings when all the gods hate you. But it's also fun because, like, if one god specifically hates you, you get an ending in which they specifically try and screw up your life in the different ways. Um, yes. So, gameplay-wise, let me just once again run you through how the game works, kind of. You just you spawn here. We've got the tutorial messages, so you pick up the item, and you have to open one of the three doors associated with Zeus, Poseidon, or Hades. It doesn't really matter in what way you do it. You can go to all of them eventually, but it's basically just Mega Man style. The player can choose where they go first and what to do, and then you can answer the questions in whatever way you want, and you get some feedback, and you do it all over again, and you hopefully learn something as you do it. For example, let's see if we can do something else that learns us. Do you even know who Pluton is? Who is Pluton? Who is Hades? Right? Let's say that he is we could say that he is straight up Hades. Let's say he's deaf. That's wrong. No, Hades slash Pluton is not in fact deaf. That would be Thanatos. He is in fact the god of the underworld. Yep. So yeah, you learn different things that way. As I say, you got the replay value way back in the end, when you got the multiple endings. So that's the engaging part. What else? Yes, the randomization. So as you notice, this sacrifice spawns in random places. Oh, this is interesting. I love this bit from randomization standpoint. This was important for me. The questions are sorted in random places, which means that so if we play it twice, let's go to Poseidon. If we play it twice, you will notice that inventor of the horse, king of Atlantis, god of rain. So let's reset it. Now there's a 30% chance that's going to be exactly the same, which for the purposes of showcasing this, I hope that's not the case, but we'll see. It's King of Atlantis, God of Rain, Inventor of Horse, so I think that's different than it was before. So there you can see the answers, the layout of the answers is randomized, which is pretty helpful because it forces the player to actually read. You can't just do the same thing over and over again. You need to actually read the questions and read the answers. You need to think about it. Yes, so how did I design it? How did I plan it out? Basically, at the beginning, I made a completely different game until I realized that I'd be much more interested in teaching the player about ancient Greece and their history, because history is super fascinating. So I was like, well, how to do that? And I came up with the idea of having like 3 different gods to create a bit of variety, and then basically have some trivia questions that the player could answer about it. And yeah, that led to the next thing. I came up with the questing system to modularly create those different questions. I made 10 for each, which seemed like a very good number. In retrospective, it might be too much. I feel like right now the game might outstay its welcome slightly, but better too much content than too little. Yeah, and so, the player has to go pick up sacrificial meat to go to the temple, sacrifice to that god, and make that god happy by answering the correct trivia question. Yeah, that's the entire gameplay. That's how I designed it. What is more interesting to say about that still? Yeah, it was interesting challenges were in there as well. Um, Specifically with how to get the question stuff set, make sure that the correct answer is associated, from a modular quest system that would be associated with the correct answer, like over here with answer 1, answer 2, answer 3. So the way that works is that we go to the answer and we give the answer ID. So it knows that this answer, where has this text in it, is associated with this answer ID. And he then calls back and goes like, hey, it's got this answer ID. Is that the right one? And then it says yes or no. Oh, yeah, the questing system is also really useful because I can basically order it like that to the quest giver, to the priestess, and I can just move it around if I felt like it, just like this or that. In the end, I didn't do it. I could also have randomized it, but again, I didn't feel like doing that because I felt it would be more interesting to actually have questions built upon previous questions. For an educative standpoint, that just seemed more natural. So instead, I decided to put the randomization aspect into something completely else. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Hang on, I can also show off really quickly the end game code because it is interesting. Because yeah, most of these you probably never see. So basically, this is where we basically see we've got basically a matrix of every possible combination of do the gods hate you, do they like you, is here. So every single one of them gives you a unique ending, some of which are quite fun. And yeah, that's. I think I've covered everything about the game. I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope it is interesting to you.